It's Lily Allen on 89.3 The Current, Ray LaMontagne just ahead of that. My name's Bill DeVille, moved over to the other studio, and I'm so excited to have Tori Amos here with the piano, and she's going to play a little music for us. How's it going, Tori?
It's going great.
Welcome to St. Paul.
Thank you so much.
So you came all the way from St. Louis to be here this morning. Actually, it's afternoon. It's straight up noon, so I guess it's morning, afternoon, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it was St. Louis and then Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done 2 shows back to back.
Did you sleep? You must have been on a tour bus, I take it.
There's not a lot of sleep that goes on when you're doing shows back to back. That's just, you have to get used to that. If you need a lot of sleep, then this might not be the thing for you.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing it a while, so you must operate pretty well with no sleep.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the energy from the shows keep you going.
Excellent. Well, how about you play a little music for us?
Absolutely.
You have a new album called Unrepentant Geraldines, and I take it this is from the album then, huh?
Well, a couple of the songs are, but somebody asked me, this is a request, to do something from, it's the 20-year anniversary of Under the Pink.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a song off that album, and this is called Cloud on My Tongue.
And here it is on 89.3 The Current. Tori Amos.
Someone's knocking on my kitchen door. Leave the wood outside. What? All the girls here are freezing cold. Leave me with your borneo. I said I don't need much to keep me warm, and don't stop now. What you doing? What you doing, my ugly one? Bring them all here. Hard to hide out 100 girls in your hair. It won't be fair if I hate her. If I hate her, you can go now. You can go now. You're already in there. I'll be wearing your tattoo. You're already in there. Got a cloud sleeping on my tongue. He goes then, it goes, and kiss the violets as they're waking. Oh, believe me, with your borneo I said, leave me the way I was before, but you're already in there. I'll be wearing your tattoo. I'm already at circles and circles, circles again, the girls in circles and circles, circles again, the girls in circles and circles, circles again, the girls in circles and circles, circles again. Where someone's knocking on my kitchen door. Leave the wood outside. What? All the girls here are freezing cold. You can go now. You can go now. You can go now. You can go now. You're already in there. I'll be wearing your tattoo. I'm already in there. Thought I was over the bridge now. Over the bridge now. I'm already in circles and circles, circles again, the girls in circles, and I got to stop spinning circles and circles, circles again, the girls in circles, and I got to stop spinning circles and circles, circles again, the girls in circles, and I've circles again. Well, he and she, we and me.
89.3 The Current, live in the studio with Tori Amos. You know, your last name is 4 letters, but people always mispronounce it, don't they? It's Amos, Tori Amos, but it's Tori Amos.
It's Tori Amos.
Yeah.
It's not Amos Skeeta bit me. So when you think of Amos and Andy, or
Right.
the Cookie Man, who I've met many times and love. I love the Cookie Guy.
And there was John Amos, the actor.
That's
who was
right.
in Roots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Tori Amos. So are you big into anniversaries? You mentioned Under the Pink turns 20. Do you celebrate a lot of anniversaries, or you just assume forget about it? Or
Well, people remind me of them, so I'm aware of that it's Under the Pink's 20th. There's some things I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if I am big into anniversaries, actually.
do you and your husband celebrate anniversaries?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
What about your summer? How has that been going so far?
Fantastic. We've been on a world tour. So we started in Europe, and then we have been in the U.S. for a couple weeks now.
And that's been going good so far?
The audiences are really amazing. Fantastic.
So one thing about this tour, it's solo. Is it tricky? Is it hard to be on stage all by your lonesome, and the show is basically all about you?
Well, it's very different. It's a different discipline than when you're playing with other musicians. When you're playing with other musicians, then you will have to be really rehearsed, or you're great at improvisation. Orchestras don't jam.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way a few years ago. So once you understand that, then there are certain situations with musicians where you need to stick to the form and the page. When you're out with somebody like a Matt Chamberlain and a John Evans, then you can just look at them and they know you're about ready to go into an improv, and they can follow along. But
Well, you've been playing with them for a while, right?
a long time, yeah. So when you're out on your own, you have to hold the stage all by yourself. That means things like taking a drink of water, or you can lose a show by taking too much time in between songs, because once the clapping dies down, people really want to be into the next song or a chat. So you have to really keep it going.
Well, I guess with the piano, at least you don't have to tune the guitar in between songs, huh?
Yes, no, that's true. But when you don't have a guitar player or somebody else to take that space, it means you have to
You have to fill all the time, don't you?
all the time, yeah.
Well, I imagine you've gotten to be a pro at this. And
Well, yeah, I think the challenge was my daughter sort of laid the gauntlet down, and I'm 50.
Yeah.
And she said to me, look, you need to go rock. You need to go prove that you can go out there and do it like you did it 20 years ago. Because she knows I went out solo on my own, because that's how I met her father. And she said to me, you can do it, Mom. So what it is, it takes a lot. It's about the energy level. I can't tell you that I'll be able to do this in 10 years by myself, because it's a different energy demand than when you have backup.
I was just at the O'Shaughnessy, must be a month ago. Elvis Costello did a solo show, and he's quite a bit older than you, and he's still pulling it off.
Great. Elvis is great.
Yeah. What about the new album? Let's talk about that a little bit. What can you tell us about this one? What did you do differently on it?
Well, there were other projects that had been happening. We just did The Light Princess, a musical, and I had done something with Deutsche Grammophon. So they were highly collaborative projects. And during these involved collaborations, these little songs began walking with me. So this wasn't a record intended in that way. It was just something that happened. These songs came to me while I was doing other things.
And the album is called Unrepentant Geraldines. Is there a significance in the title?
Well, that it keeps changing all the time. I guess at a certain point you recognize you can't apologize for changing how you see something. So sometimes I think we get trapped in having to be right, and our egos force us to be right, not smart, but right. And at a certain point, I reckon at 50, you have to be able to say, you know what I thought last week, it's a load of rubbish. This week, some 15-year-old kid and I had this conversation, and he showed me a different way of seeing this. And I hadn't seen that before. And I'm going to be unrepentant about changing my mind. That's how you grow.
You seem like you're pretty okay with the idea of being 50, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't when I was 49, though.
Yeah? You feared turning 50?
It's not just fear turning 50, Bill. It's in the music industry. You mentioned Elvis Costello, who's an amazing artist. But in my world, women are not offered those record contracts.
Yeah.
The songwriters. I'm not talking about the disco diva goddesses. Like the men are.
Yeah.
And the guys from Universal, who I love dearly, we were having this conversation. And I said, well, why is that? And they said supply and demand, whether that's true or not. But I just said, well, that's terrible. And they said, well, go change the demand for yourself. So I had to get my head around it and realize what the facts are and just go out and rock.
Well, there you go. Well, it's really nice to have you here. It's Tori Amos. She plays the O'Shaughnessy later on tonight. The new album is called Unrepentant Geraldines, and she's going to play some more music for you. What do you got for us this time, Tori?
This is off the new record. It's called Why Away.
All right.
Just a flick of your finger, it is that easy. Yes, there was a time you didn't always get your way, but the will my heart was not so easy to invade. When my battlements were strong before the pilgrims came, don't forget you were the one who loved my wild way. I hate you, I hate you, I do. I hate that I turn into some kind of monster with just a flick of your finger. It is that easy. Of course, there was a time you didn't always get your way, but the way my heart was not so easy to invade. When my battlements were strong before the pilgrims came, don't forget you were the one who loved my wild way. I hate you, I hate you, I do. I hate that you're the one who can make me feel gorgeous with just a flick of your finger. It is that easy to hate you, to hate you.
That's Tori Amos live in the studio, a song called Wild Way. One thing I did read and hear is that you made a song with your daughter. She duets with you on a track from the new album, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. The song's called Promise.
Promise, yeah. There's a video for it too. Was it fun to record with your daughter?
Absolute blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably one of my favorite people to be with when it comes to do you want to have a good time in life. She's big fun.
Was it whose idea was it, hers or yours, to do
It
this?
was it was my idea because we were having a conversation, and we go back to what you and I were talking about before about making promises to each other. One of the promises I had to make to her was about not looking at 50 as being old. And so that was the beginning of the whole conversation.
Right.
And then another promise was grown-ups like to be right and to say, well, I could have told you that was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And so we started promising to listen to each other's points of view, even if we really disagreed with it at first, to say, can I really not just look at you and then be singing a song in my head, but really hear what you have to say. And that was the beginning of our conversations, which then led to a song kind of organically.
Did it take a lot of takes for her to get it right, or did she nail it, in the first couple tries?
You know, she has this amazing ability to just sing, break your heart. And she said to me, I don't want my mom in the room. She said, I want Tori Amos in the room, and I don't want my dad in the room. I want professionals in the room. And so she wanted to be treated like a professional, and she was, and she acted like one.
Would you like to see her follow in your footsteps?
I'd like to see her follow in
For her own footsteps.
footsteps. Because, I had a very religious upbringing. I had different demons to fight. And she's going to find her own path.
Another thing I wanted to ask you about, you made 14 albums. Did you ever imagine making this many albums?
No.
Yeah?
No, I didn't really think about it like that at the time, because it's very different. It's no different than when you're 49 and you're not looking at a top 10 Billboard album debut. You're not looking at people responding to the album you're making. Do you see it? It didn't exist a year ago. When I would say, yeah, I'm making an album, nobody was interested, except the guys at Universal and my team around me and Tash, people that are close to me. But really, nobody was interested in it. And so what I'm saying to you is it's no different than when you're making your Little Earthquake record. You don't really think that, well, in 20 some years I'll still be making records, because that's an entitlement, and it's not wise to step into that as a musician. You don't really know when people are going to still be listening to you or not.
Yeah. Did you have any idea when you made Little Earthquakes the way people would respond to it? I imagine you hoped that would happen, huh?
Well, the greatest gift that was ever given to me was a record called Why Can't Tori Read? And I learned very quickly how the industry responds to you as a person when something isn't a success. Everybody is there when the champagne's flowing.
Right.
That's metaphorical. Whether you drink or not isn't the issue. Everybody's there when you've got heat. But when the doors are closed and when the industry turns its back on you, and it's the most wonderful thing that happened to me, that the industry turned their back on me. Not all of it, but most of it. Because then, don't you see, I made a decision then what I valued. And what I valued was being true. And so during the Little Earthquake process, I made music thinking, if no one ever listens to this, I made music that I needed to make.
And you could be proud of.
That's absolutely right, Bill.
You've written a whole bunch of songs in your career. Is there any that your best friend? I mean, which one is your song is your most beloved? Which one do you can you hang your hat on that you've written? Do you have a favorite song of yours in a nutshell?
Well, no, because they change. It changed. I mean, there are hundreds of them, so it changes depending on the mood. Also, sometimes when you're touring and the audience might ask for a certain song that I haven't played, and I rediscover it through them.
Sure.
That's the amazing thing about an audience, because they can say, you haven't played this one in a while. Could you maybe find my relationship with it? And so I hear it through their eyes, and I begin to discover it through their eyes.
You do like to do some covers. I read recently that you've covered Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper, Tom Waits' Time, and you've also covered Prince. who's, from the Twin Cities here, so we kind of love our Prince around here.
We love our Prince, yeah.
Yeah. What made you decide to cover a song by Prince?
Well, he's one of my big influences.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Growing up as a performer, he and Jimi Hendrix and Robert Plant were really the guys that I looked to as live performers. Mm-hmm. Because piano players traditionally, when I studied it, yeah, you had some fantastic showmen like Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard and those guys, but I was interested in more of a narrative of something that those guys were tapping into. They were tapping into something archetypal, and I wanted to bring that to the piano. So I really studied them, and Prince, of course, was one of my mentors.
Mm-hmm. It's Tori Amos. She's live in the studio. She plays the O'Shaughnessy right here in St. Paul later on tonight. By the way, I overheard you talking about seeing the Lucys and Linuses around St. Paul here.
How great are they?
Mm-hmm. That must have been pretty cool for you to see that.
Yeah, well, we were just walking out of the hotel, and we were in the hotel for about 2 hours. That's what you have to do on the road. You drive all night, then you do a quick turnaround. And I woke out, and there's Lucy. And I'm thinking, double take, wait, because I didn't know Schultz was from here.
Schultz is from right here, over off of Snelling, I think is where he grew up, just not a few miles from here. So let's play some more music.
Okay.
What are you going to do for us?
This off the record, it's called Oysters.
And it's here on 89.3 The Current.
So can these shoes take me to who I was before? I was stabbing my sticks into a vulnerable earth. And I can almost outrun you and those stalking memories. Did I somehow become you without realizing? Found a little patch of heaven now. So then I'm gonna turn oysters in the sand, 'cause I'm working my way back. I'm working my way back to me again. Not every girl is a pearl with these ruby slippers, with these ruby slippers. So then I'm gonna turn oysters in the sand, in the sand. Turn, turn, and there are forces of conflict taking portions of my mind, in whose realm laced with trickery the fragments I must find. And I can almost outrun you and those stalking memories. Did I somehow become you without realizing? Found a little patch of heaven now. So then I'm gonna turn oysters in the sand, 'cause I'm working my way back. I'm working my way back to me these ruby slippers, with these ruby slippers, soothing, I'm gonna turn oysters in the sand, in the sand.
That's Tori Amos live in the studio, a song called Oysters. And Tori plays tonight in St. Paul at the O'Shaughnessy. You've been coming to the Twin Cities now for, goodness, like more than 20 years. Do you have any fond memories, or has it all become kind of a blur after a while?
I think I love it when it's snowing here. When people are walking across above the streets and you can see them and the snow's
In the
coming
skyway,
down. Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. I love that. So unique to hear.
Yeah, it's not every place that has the skyways and all that, I suppose. I don't suppose you see those in England where you've been spending some time lately, huh?
No.
Yeah. A real treat to have you here. It's a pleasure chatting as well.
Thank you, Bill.
Congratulations, by the way, on the new album, Unrepentant Geraldines, as well. And I wanted to thank engineer Michael DeMarc and producer Derek Stevens. My name's Bill DeVille on 89.3 The Current.